So the Forward Gal Stakes is a Grade 3. It's the 10th race on the Gulfstream card on Saturday, which incidentally has an all 3-year-old stakes sequence, which we'll have a posting for later. It's run at 7 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies, and this looks like a pretty good race. And here's the field. You can see we've got some Nikitas and Scalable we saw at Saratoga, and they had mixed results. Scalable went out west prior to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies and got a decent second in a stakes race, but did not win. And we've got a couple of horses who have made some noise for the 3-year-olds, and then we've got our Canadian import, Whitwater's Rand, who's coming down from Woodbine, who just recently had a 2-turn stakes win. So if we look at the field, we'll go through them one at a time. Fiona's Magic is improving as the distances are getting longer. She hasn't gone around 2 turns yet, but has been moving up from her 5-furlong debut. She had the benefit on her last 2 of the apprentice weight. So she had a fairly good weight allowance difference. I think it was probably at the minimum 8 pounds in her last 2 races. So you do have to wonder about that, if perhaps that may have had something to do with her last 2 showings, which were pretty good. Obviously, will not have that advantage here. She's got Tyler Gaffleone, which is a different kind of advantage. So Fiona's Magic will have some company trying to get on the front end, and there's some things to like here. I just kind of prefer others a little better. R. Harper Rose, the last race she ran in may have been too far, but she did keep on for a good second at a 2-turn race, and I think that speaks to the quality of this horse. She owns a win at the distance, and I think she's got a pretty good class edge over quite a few in here. So all systems are go. I don't think 7 furlongs is going to be a problem given that last route race she ran in. And cutting back, I think, is what the doctor ordered. So R. Harper Rose, I think, will be on the front end and has a very good chance to take them all the way. Nikitas is one that we saw at Saratoga and acquitted herself pretty well. She broke the maiden at 7 furlongs, but she kind of did so in a really grinding fashion, like, would need some pace ahead of her to have an optimum effort. And I don't know that necessarily there's going to be enough here, or if it at all she has enough to get the job done. Certainly an extra panel over a sprint would benefit her style to a degree, but I think she's probably more suited for underneath. Chad's Brown's Barn has woken up. We saw that over the weekend. He got a couple of wins. But I think the running style, again, I think it puts her at a little bit of a disadvantage against R. Harper Rose in this spot. So Nikitas, to me, more of an under candidate. Then we have Whitwater's Rand, and this is the Canadian import. Had a nice 2-turn win in the Mazarine at Woodbine. Saved ground along the rail and then swung out late swung out maybe to the 2-path. And got up and looked to have plenty in the tank left. And that was really the appeal. I think this horse we may see moving on to the Oaks Trail after a race like that. But that was in November. So she's been off for a while. And my concern is that perhaps this would be used as a springboard into an Oaks prep. And for that reason, might not be tuned up all the way. Now, you're getting a couple of angles that I love in this race with Whitwater's Rand, and that's all weather to dirt and route to sprint. And the layoff kind of takes a little bit away from both of those, but I think this one showed some quality. And if you consider that the class levels of those Woodbine races are comparable to or better than many in this field, I think that makes her a class fit. And I like in this spot. I think it has a really good chance to win it. Kissed by an Angel showed some promise at 2 with a good progression until stepping up into stakes company. She broke poorly in both, so she got a bit of an excuse. She kept on well to get up for third in her last race, but so there's a little bit of hope. But she's got to overcome the gate issues to have any chance. And you do note that her best effort was against Maryland breds. So maybe class is a little bit of an issue here. So Kissed by an Angel, I think, could get up and under. It's entirely possible, but seems to has a couple of things that she's going to have to overcome in order to factor in this race. Chi-Chi wilted in the sternest test she had to date in the cash run, and that was at a mile. And she really should have liked that, being by audible, stretching out, and really didn't perform terribly well. Still, her best two efforts are at 6.5 furlongs, so perhaps the added half panel and the cutback to one turn maybe would be something that suits her. But I really didn't like what I saw in the cash run, and so there's kind of some mixed signals here, and I'm going to look elsewhere. Scalable appears to have licked the braking issues that kept her in the rear early on. She just got out of the gate slowly, and it really compromised any chances she would have to win. But you could certainly tell that there was some talent. The class levels continue to improve with each race, and that was a big maiden score she had last time. And it looks like from that race that, again, she's running more professionally, being under Todd Pletcher. That's not a big surprise. She's going to have to chase down R. Harper Rose, but another move forward, and I think she could certainly do that. So I think Scalable you'd have to consider as one of the prime win candidates here. So culling from that field, we're going to use R. Harper Rose. I think is very logical on the front end, and that she's the one they're going to have to catch. And it's not guaranteed necessarily that they will, but there are some viable alternatives. I think Whitwater's Rand and Scalable both showed that they're ready to take a move forward. More so Scalable than Whitwater's Rand for the reasons stated, but I think those two look pretty good contenders as far as I can see. And then Nikitas, I think, is more underneath, and that's based upon sort of that grinding style I was talking about. I just don't know that the acceleration is there to put this field away, but I certainly think that she'll keep running and can probably can get underneath. Kissed by an Angel, if you want to give her a shot, I mean, it would be price dependent for me, but I could see using her as well. But those are the four that we're going to use. So let's take a look at our wagering ticket. So here's our wagering strategy for the Forward Gal Stakes. As we noted, we're going to use R. Harper Rose, Nikitas, Whitwater's Rand, and Scalable. I think our primary thrust should be with Scalable, but by odds, probably going to be the favorite or the second choice at the very minimum, I would say. But Whitwater's Rand, I think, might offer some value, and I think might be a sleeper in this field for the reasons stated. So if you want to get some value, I think maybe going across the board with Whitwater's Rand at a decent price, and when we say decent, 6-1 or better. And I think that's hopefully possible. If not, obviously if the word gets out and she drifts down to like 7-2 or something, then it's up to you whether you want to do it. I probably would stay away, but if we do get odds that are friendly, I'd go for it. We'll key box and exacta with Scalable as our primary key with the 4 and 7. And then we'll box 4, 6, and 7 because they are 3-year-olds. And again, Whitwater's Rand, kind of a wild card here. Could be just a prep for an Oaks race, or she could come out firing. And if so, then I think we want to cover it a little bit. And if for some reason Scalable breaks poorly again, which she seems to have licked, that covers us a little bit. For the trifecta, we want to go 6 on top with 4, 7, 4, 7 as our primary thrust. And then we'll have kind of a saver trifecta with 6 on top with 4, 7 with 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. So we'll use Nikitas, and then we'll throw in Fiona's Magic. She's got Tyler Gaffleone on her, but I can't get past the fact her last 2 races were with the bug. And I just wonder if that was an assist in her performance. But seems to have a little bit of quality. I just like the others a little better, particularly in a 7 furlong race. I think our Harper Rose has a natural speed edge. And then I think Scalable Whitwater's Rand, coming from off the pace, is usually a good place to be in a 7 furlong race. So Scalable's race to lose, in my opinion, but Whitwater's Rand and our Harper Rose, I think, are the other prime challengers, and should be a pretty good race.